Hello, my name is Andrew. I used to wear -5.5 and -5 lenses. I now wear -425 and 325 lenses after discovering myopia in May 2019, so it's been about 11 months now. These reductions have come with huge hurdles to my progress, however. I originally reduced too much on my first pair of normalized, and then I went reduction heavy, I went crazy. It's just really embarrassing, to say the least. You can see all these older videos on my channel where I'm talking about myopia being this amazing thing and blah blah blah, but it's a bit of a rabbit hole really. Loads of blur adaptation and no real improvements. Because I did the wrong thing, not because myopia doesn't work, but because I did the wrong thing. I reduced too much in the beginning, so I originally wore -4 and -3 lenses as my starting point, having worn nothing else more strong aside from my full strength glasses, pre-myopia. And that was my original point. And then I started reducing from that as well. And I just went into blur adaptation. It was a mess. It was October 31st, 2019, which I realized that my original starting point for starting this entire process was too low. Jake does not recommend reducing more than 1 diopter for your first pair of normalized, but I didn't obey that rule. I didn't even know if that was a rule at the time. So my first pair of normalized were too low, I went crazy, etc. But October 31st, I realized that this was not how it was supposed to be, and I bumped up my prescription back up to a glorious -4.75 and -3.75, 475, 375 respectively. And that was my first real good pair of normalized that actually got me some results. I noticed my eyes improved based off of this, and I want to talk about those today. So, -475, 375. I think I wore these glasses from about, I want to say, November to... Oh yeah, no, I already know the answer actually. Yeah, I already know the answer. I wore these glasses from November to March 2nd. That's what I've got written down, which is a very long period of time. So that is, I think it was like November 20th or something I had those glasses. Very long period of time. That's about 4 months. So that's like the end of what Jake recommends for average reductions. Very long period of time, and I wasn't being proactive with my reductions at the time. So I was really conscious about reducing too much, as my older videos will clearly demonstrate. I had reduced like crazy, and I went way much more onto the conservative side of reductions. My progress stagnated after about a month or so, having worn -475 and 375, and I didn't know why, really. My centimeters weren't improving. But at the same time, I thought, no, I can't reduce yet. I was taking it more easy because I don't want to go reduction heavy again. But on March the 2nd, I got a proper eye test. So this is just last month, really. I got another eye test. And this time, I didn't cheat the test using active focus. If you watch my older videos, I talk about how I had an eye test of -425, 325, -4, -3. I cheated those tests with active focus, so they weren't genuine results. But this was not a cheated test. I didn't use active focus. And I went into the exam with my 475 and 375 glasses, and they said, this is a good correction for you. It doesn't need to be higher, it doesn't need to be lower. And they also prescribed -0.5 astigmatism in both of my eyes, which is less astigmatism than when I originally started this journey. So, -475, 375. And at that point, I knew I had to reduce because I'd been on this prescription for too long. It's not really a prescription, but that's another topic. I'd been on this correction for too long, and I thought, no, I will force it, I will go down. And so I did. I went down to -4.5 and 3.5. And that was March the 2nd. March the 3rd was when that reduction fully kicked into effect. And I wore those for about 14 days, 2 weeks. And my eyes improved. I could see things better in that time frame. I was active focusing and I was going out for long distance walks, an average of 2 to 3 hours a day. Sometimes I wouldn't go out, but most days I did for 2 to 3 hours a day. This is the daily exercise of the coronavirus restrictions, okay? He didn't say how long, Boris didn't say how long it has to be, so I can go out for as long as I want. But that's daily exercise and also active focus stimulus. So I was going out for solid periods of time every day. Bright sunlight. We got bright sunlight in the UK now. It's great. And 2 weeks in, I thought perhaps that my eyes had improved okay. My eyes had improved a lot in those 2 weeks. I know, me saying my eyes improved too much. Kind of a recurring theme. But my blur horizon had been pushed back, and I was like, well, okay, I was not proactive with reductions for the past 4 months. So I will be proactive now. I will see if a reduction works. And I wore a new reduced pair of -425 and 325, down 0.25 diopters again. I wore those. And I wore those for like 6 days, I want to say. I realized that my left eye was fine. My left eye was happy with this reduction, no problems at all. But my right eye was struggling to active focus. It was too reduced. It was really hard for my right eye to do pretty much anything with 425 correction. It needed 4.5 at that time. And it took me 6 days to realize that. Because you can like really strain your eyes and try and active focus it in. But if it's not happening too easily, then it's probably not going to work. So I went, after about 6 days of wearing -425 and 325, I went back up to my original pair of 4.5 and 3.5. And then I wore that pair of glasses of 4.5 and 3.5 for about 9 extra days, giving myself a bit more time to get my right eye on board anyway. So I got my right eye on board, and my centimeter measurements in my right eye began to improve a little bit more than they had done in the past. And then eventually, when I got to around about, I don't want to go into the intricacies of how I measure. I measure with a -2 lens here and a -1 lens here, differentials. So I was getting 39 centimeters originally, and then it went up to 40.5 a little bit. And the region that is relevant is 39 centimeters to 42 centimeters. That is the 4.5 territory, taking into account my lenses. And past that is -4.25. So once I got to around about 40.5, I decided to get a bit cheeky, and I reduced again. I went down to 425 and 325 again, having previously noticed the fact that my right eye had not coped with the reduction. But this time, my right eye was on board because I spent longer with my 4.5 and 3.5 lenses. I spent longer at the higher correction, and now the lower correction worked for me this time, whereas before in the past it hadn't. And it was very good, very good. My eyes have improved. They're very comfortable at a -425 and 325 now, whereas before they weren't. They're doing great, honestly. My blur horizon does get pushed back quite a lot over several days. The thing you have to remember is that it's bright sunlight outside. Bright sunlight. I'm going out for 2 to 3 hours every single day consistently. Again, daily exercise, coronavirus restrictions. This is the UK, this is legal. I'm not breaking the rules, but I'm doing that every single day. And my centimeter measurements, I want to say they're going up by about 0.5 centimeters each day, at least for my right eye. I'm paying more attention to my right eye because it's kind of straggling behind my left eye, really. My left eye is just doing great, but my right eye, around about 0.5 centimeters every single day. I like to say that anyway. But there is no doubt in my mind that I've made an improvement. I know I've said that before, but you know, originally my blur horizon was 39 centimeters. 44 centimeters would be out of the question blurry mess. No questions asked like 2-3 weeks ago. But now I can see 44 centimeters in my right eye, no active focus needed. This is measuring with differentials, of course, -2 differentials. That's a 5 centimeter improvement. And no active focus. It's just clear to me that my eyes have improved, no questions asked. I can see I can active focus easier and easier each day, which I think is a good barometer to see if you've improved. Like looking at landmarks in the distance and seeing, oh, this landmark was so and so easy to see with or without active focus. How is that today? Oh, it's clearer. You know, I do that every day. I walk past the same signs every day, and it gets clearer. So, yeah. So the long story short is reduced way too quickly in the beginning. That's behind me. Went to -475, 375, spent 3 to 4 months on that, and that means I was not proactive with my reductions at all. I wasn't proactive. And then March the 2nd, had a proper eye test. It showed me that it was the time to reduce. I went down to 4.5, 3.5. I stayed on that for 2 weeks. Then I tried to reduce again, but it was too early for my right eye. So I went back up for 9 days. I'm telling you the story of my life. Went back up for 9 days. Then I went down again, reduced it again, and my right eye was ready to do it then. And that extra time really helped. Going outdoors 2 to 3 hours a day, bright sunlight. The bright sunlight I think kind of helps, to be honest. I'm not sure whether it has anything to do with axial elongation or whatever. Like reversing, I don't know if it's a clinical thing, like your eye literally shortens quicker if it's bright sunlight. I'm not sure if that's the case, or whether it just makes it more enjoyable to go outside. I'm not really sure. But anyway, I've had bright sunlight, that's what I can say. And my eyes seem to be improving relatively rapidly. Given this rate of improvement, which I know I said this in the past, and it's annoying to have to repeat the same thing that I said in the past, because it brings up dark memories of screaming at the camera going, oh, reducing so quick, oh, it's so good, it's so good. But with that said, I think the rate of improvement has been relatively high, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Given that I'm doing the correct things now, I'm reality checking myself a lot. I'm trying to avoid blur adaptation at all costs. My normalized are very strong. I mean, much stronger than they used to be. They weren't even normalized. They were just funny glasses, right? It's dumb. My old videos are dumb. But now, I don't think I have any blur adaptation. I just think these are genuine improvements, and they happen quickly. 2 to 3 hours out every day in bright sunlight. Maybe there's genetic things involved. Maybe my eyes adapt to stimulus quicker than before. I know I said this before. Maybe I'm young. Maybe age is a factor in how quickly eyes improve. I don't know. I feel like there's a correlation with that, but I don't know. I'm still concerned that the improvements are too quick. You can see it's like genuine. It's like half enjoyment, but also half, I don't want to make the same mistakes as I did before. But honestly, I'm very happy with where it's going. I'm underselling how happy I am a little bit. Yeah, genuine improvement, seemingly very quickly. If at this current rate of improvement, I don't know, maybe I'm ready to reduce again in another 2 weeks. I've forgotten how long I've worn these for. How long have I worn these for? These -425, 325, like 5 days or something. I feel like on this current rate of improvement, like 2 weeks would be good enough to reduce again. Which is just bringing up bad memories. But the centimeter measurements don't lie. If I can active focus something, and by the way, in contrast to how it was before, previously when I was reducing too quickly, the acuity of just text alone was very high, but the surrounding, everything around the text was blurry. But for some reason, I thought, because I can see the text clearly, therefore my vision is better, which was wrong. But I focused way too much on the acuity of text, like the Snellen eye chart or whatever, and I didn't focus nearly enough on my general vision, which was just blurry. For some reason I thought, oh yeah, text is good, so my vision's good, it's fine. It's not fine. You need to have the full thing. And thankfully, I can tell you, my vision on these normalized when I active focus is pretty much 20/20, perfect vision, sharp objects perfectly seen, tree leaves perfectly clear, bridge, why did I say bridge? I don't know. I walked past a bridge, so I said bridge. But the bridge is clear. And these landmarks are clear, as well as text. In fact, the acuity of text is a bit tricky because I have apparently minus 0.5 astigmatism in both my eyes. So acuity for me isn't the best way to see if my eyes are improving anyway. But yeah, honestly, my entire vision is clearer. It's not some blur adaptation text mess like it was before. And the only problem is that I don't want to call it too soon. I don't want to say, aha, I was a crazy fast improvement case in the end after all, ha ha ha. But honestly, at the moment, my centimeters are improving very quickly. It's like, it's beginning to look like I could reduce every month. Worst case scenario if I keep up my current habits, which are strong habits. I've got strong habits. So that's what's contributing to my success, to be honest. And yeah. There's not really much more to say, is there? These logs, I've decided these logs are not going to be edited. I don't think they need to be edited because these logs, they are just me telling you my number has decreased. So there's not a lot to say at all. It's just my number went down and this is my honest experience. And yeah, I'm just coming out of doing stupid things with my eyes. And yeah, wait and see. Hopefully I'm doing the right thing. I am very confident that I'm doing the right thing. I have no reason to think I'm doing the wrong thing anymore. I think I've learnt my lesson about reducing like a stupid idiot. I'm so harsh on myself, aren't I? But yeah, I've learnt my lesson, and these logs they can be as boring as I want. I don't care anymore. I want to produce videos which talk about the process in greater detail. I want those to be edited, scripted, beautiful masterpieces, funny jokes, etc., etc. But these logs, from now on, I don't think I'm going to edit them. Purely just me talking to a camera, because everybody else, no one else edits their logs, do they? They just talk with a camera as well. Why should I edit my logs? My number went down. What is there to say? Do you want an explosion? New reduction. Like, who cares? But hopefully, I will continue to do the log though. I will continue to do it. And what will happen is this one will be the 425, 325 video, and then it'll be -4, -3, back to the good old faithful -4, -3, the brilliant normalized that I should have never started with. And then I'll keep going and going and going, and hopefully it'll be like Endmyopia, episode 45 or something, and it'll be like, today's the day I got 20/20 vision, and you can go back through all the past and see all these boring logs, and you can see that I was consistent all the way through. And that's important, because if you're someone who's new and you're coming and it's like, oh, what's all this Endmyopia stuff? People's experiences of how they actually, their experiences of this process are bloody important. Oh, I swore, that's demonetized. I said the B word, the British B word. Yeah, so that's demonetized, even though my channel isn't monetized. Why am I thinking about these things? Yeah, so, but otherwise, I love a big picture, a big grand picture of this giant process, and I'm keeping up the older videos for posterity because they're important just to see where you can go drastically wrong, and I think I have a soft spot for those videos. But it's a new me, new channel, new philosophy, new way of doing things, and now that I'm making consistent improvement that is genuine, then I feel that I'm ready to make videos informing other people how to do things. So I will make an active focus video in the future. That will happen. One about how to measure centimeters. I don't know. Please leave ideas. I've had a lot of experience with Endmyopia by this point, like a lot. Bad and good. The bad is primarily because of me. The good is because it's good. But I stuck at it because it's worth sticking at. And I really, really, really want 20/20 vision. This would mean the world to me. As everyone knows, I was going to have laser eye surgery. Stupid, don't do it. But yeah, it means a lot to me to have 20/20 vision. And that's why I never gave up. Because everyone else is saying it works as well. Like, why the heck would I not continue and see if it works? So yeah. What else is there to say? Jake says that I am welcome on that podcast. Why did I say that podcast? I'm talking about the official Shortsighted Podcast from Endmyopia, which I'm not affiliated with, but I like promoting Endmyopia because that's what my entire channel is about, because it works. It's an Endmyopia channel that is unofficial, and I promote it because it works, and because 2 billion people have this condition. 2 billion people have myopia. And no one knows about this. The Facebook group's only got like 16,500 members, right? No one knows about this, yet it works. So it's just a huge disappointment, right? So yeah. But anyway, Jake invited me to go on the Shortsighted Podcast. I love to go on the Shortsighted Podcast. I just want more reductions before I do that, because the title of the podcast looks better, and I feel like I've got more to talk about. Because at the moment, let's say for all of the crazy reductions never happened. Forget they happened for a second. Forget that crazy reductions never happened. -425 and 325 is where I'm at the moment. My first pair of normalized, forget crazy reductions, is -475 and 375, right? That's my first pair of normalized. So I've only reduced by 0.5 diopters, and I'm still not complete with this current reduction. So 0.5 diopters is... Okay, I've reduced more than that technically due to ciliary spasm. Yeah, but in terms of long-term progress, only 0.5 diopters, really. So I want a bit more time. I might do the podcast at like -375 and -275 or something. I don't know when. I'd love to go on it. I just want more to talk about, you know? Why am I talking so much about the podcast? Because I like the podcast. I listen to the podcast when I go on my walks. Because I go for long walks every day. It's a habit now. Like, even past the eyesight stuff, going for walks every day is fun, and it's engaging, and it gets you outdoors, and I enjoy them. And I've been listening to podcasts. I'm listening, obviously, to the Shortsighted Podcast. I haven't listened to all the episodes yet, but I should. I've listened to a lot of them, though. I'm listening to a lot of podcasts by a company called Wondery. They're great. I'm listening to Business Wars. I've listened to loads of those. I'm listening to Wicked Game. It's also by Wondery. It's about the all American elections from what was the first American election? 1789, I want to say. 1789 all the way to 2020. They're doing that big, this is every election, and it's like 40 minutes an episode. It's great, and you just learn a lot about American history, which I'm interested in. What else have I listened to? What other podcasts have I listened to? Other Wondery podcasts. I forgot. Business Wars, Shortsighted, Wicked Game. Some other podcasts I like anyway, I'll just tell you them. If you haven't listened to the podcast Hardcore History, you need to listen to that podcast. It's brilliant. I am so jealous of anyone who hasn't heard those episodes the first time. Slow down. I'm so jealous of people who have not experienced those episodes. I wish I could reverse my brain and go back to a point where I hadn't listened to Hardcore History episodes, because they're great. Super in-depth, 3 to 4 hour discussions. Sometimes they have like 5 episodes to each subject. Like, they had a 5-part series on the First World War, I think. and each episode was 3 to 4 hours long, and it was great. I'm a really big fan of Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, so you should watch that, listen to that. And another podcast, I like Jocko Podcast. I just think it's interesting to get different perspectives. He's a military man, kind of an inspirational guy, doing all sorts of cool things with his life. Ex-Navy SEAL. I listen to his podcast as well. It's good. If anyone else had podcast recommendations, let me know. But that's what I've been doing. And taking a podcast out on a long walk is like a religious rite of passage for me at the moment. Every day I've got to do it. Yeah, every day I've got to do that. So, yeah, pretty good. And isn't too much to say. No. So yeah, thanks for sticking around with my channel. And if you like any of these videos, you can subscribe, you can like, you can, and most importantly, I implore you, make your own YouTube channel, talk about Endmyopia, talk about eyesight improvement. This is a big thing. No one's talking about it. They should talk about it. If you make genuine, sincere improvements, get in touch, get into the community, write in the forum, come to the Endmyopia Discord server, which is now official. Jake took over the ownership of it, but I basically still run it. But the Endmyopia Discord server is great. The Facebook group, the forum, the Le Meow forum. Le Meow forum. You can find that on the Endmyopia website, which again, I'm not affiliated with. I didn't know Jake or any of this until I found about Endmyopia. No one paid me. No one paid me for all the camera equipment and stuff. I wish they did, but they didn't. But it's just a big deal, and you gotta share what's a big deal. So, yeah. Some crazy guy on the internet who talks about having a beard has the solution to a condition that 2 billion people on the planet suffer from. What an interesting state of affairs that is. Yeah. Not much more to say. If you like this video, like it, subscribe to my channel. Words fail me. Do all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. I will have a video that's edited talking about all of my previous mistakes with Endmyopia. That's coming out very soon. Completely different style of tone to this one right here, because the log is not going to be edited. This is a raw file, baby, raw file. So thank you very much, and I will see you next time.